There have long been
$5 drinks, $5 bites, 5 free drinks you can play on that.
Why California patients like supported Prop 34? I'm living with a rare genetic disorder, and I rely on accessible healthcare to survive. Prop 34 will be a lifeline for many, making prescription jobs more affordable in California. 34 helps patients, ensuring more people get the care they deserve, and improve patient lives like mine. Vote yes on 34.
There have long been whispers of U.S. Special Forces top secret missions inside Latin America. Some of it I think is real history, some of it's rumor and recently declassified documents. The idea has made its way all the way into pop culture with games like Ghost Recon Wildlands and the movie Sicario. This is going to be sort of like an iceberg video where I'll go through some of the most known and increasingly more obscure American Special Forces missions inside Latin America. The first story is the Joint Combined Exchange Training Program. The Washington office in Latin America, which is a human rights focused think tank, used the Freedom of Information Act request to uncover just how many personnel and resources are going to Latin American countries each year. What they found was shocking. There was a dramatic rise in JSOC training missions in region over the past 2 decades. Between 2007 and 2014, the number of JTEC missions inside Latin America tripled. Joint Combined Exchange Training, or JTEC missions, was a program first founded in 1991. It allowed the Defense Department to deploy Special Forces personnel to train and coordinate with foreign nations outside direct wartime goals. It was kind of a loophole because it's long been suspected that these are more than just innocent training missions. They're likely a way to provide a legal framework for counterterrorism and counter-drug operations alongside partner forces. Most of these missions were to Honduras, a country where there's been tremendous levels of gang violence, political instability, and as we'll see, a long history of covert missions of U.S. Special Forces. Now, 21 JTEC missions deployed here. Colombia and Ecuador were tied for second place with 19 missions each. It's no coincidence that these closely track with the worst hotspots of cartel and gang activity all across Latin America. The released documents actually showed that 4,000 U.S. operators were invited to train about 13,000 Latin American personnel during this time frame at a cost of roughly $73 million. While the exact details of these missions are still classified, even to the FOIA request, we know that they were teaching urban combat for foreign internal defense, as well as gaining regional access with a minimum footprint and enhancing U.S. influence in host countries. And we'll see these training missions are tame compared to some of the ones we're about to get into. But first, I want to tell you about this video's beautiful sponsor, Odoo, the online business management platform that provides entrepreneurs an all-in-one application to simplify the day-to-day operations of their business. Everything from website building to inventory and accounting, Odoo provides all the tools necessary to launch and run your business. And the best part is, the first Odoo application is free for life, including unlimited hosting and support, letting you create a vivid site for your business easily and efficiently, and yep, you guessed it, completely free. They even offer a free personalized domain name for 1 year. With the Odoo website configuration, you can build your site in 4 quick and easy steps. Define goals, pick color palettes, and insert your logo. Add your pages and features, and choose your theme. And just like that, your online business is up and running. The platform couldn't be any simpler to use. Just a few clicks and your site is ready to go. Odoo even integrates ChatGPT to help write, reword, or even change the tone of your copy. No more writer's block. Click the link below to jumpstart your online presence today. Combined, the population of 32 different countries across Latin America is over 660 million people, roughly 8%.
Hey guys, do you guys use Chat GPT?
There were about 62 million people
Hey,
from
thank you for that
various Latin
subscribe.
American
Do you
countries
guys use any
living in the United
of those
States,
freaking
according to
AI
Gallup, were roughly
apps,
19%
intelligence,
of the total population.
the
These
Chat
two
GPT?
regions are closely tied together
A lot of people be
politically,
using that,
economically,
and
and
there's a
culturally.
subscription that
And
you have to
that's where the
pay.
United States
Cause
7th
come on,
group
every
comes
app
about.
has that
So the
nowadays,
way it
right?
works is there are 7 different
Where
U.S.
you have
Special
to
Forces
pay to
groups,
use the
and each one
full entire
focuses in a
app.
different region. 10th
Well,
group, for
anyways,
example, specializes in
some
Europe,
guy
Africa,
came
and
in
Russia.
yesterday to work, and
7th
he
group
used
is
that in
focused
front of
on
me.
Latin
I was
America and
just tripping
Southern
out.
Command. This means that they learn languages, cultures, customs, and the history from the countries in this region before they deploy there. 7th Group is now headquartered in Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. and they learn either Portuguese or Spanish as part of their job. This unit's role in Latin America was expanded starting in the 1980s when President Reagan took a more hardline stance against communist activities in the Western Hemisphere. The mission in Honduras are some of the most sensitive and classified and downright wild to this day. But we know about one of the most insane operations.
K-Shiv, hello.
Former Delta Force operator
Thank you
Eric
for the like.
Henley revealed
Appreciate that.
exactly what he did there. According to him, he was deployed to Honduras in 1991 to train and advise their special forces in direct combat. The U.S. Delta operators were sent on a mission to intercept and destroy roughly 100 Honduran Marxist Cuban-trained guerrillas that had infiltrated from
Thank you
Nicaragua.
for that sub.
Working alongside local Honduran troops, they tracked the Marxist fighters to a mountain base. His team opened fire on them, and during the battle, Henley claims that he spotted one of the fighters with a radio. He shot and killed the man. After the fight, it turned out that the man he killed was none other than David Baez. The identity of this man blew me away. Baez was actually a Nicaraguan-born American citizen who was a former U.S. Army Special Forces operator. Henley had even met the man years prior back in the States during Delta Force selection courses. Baez left the U.S. Army, defected from 7th Group Special Forces, and joined the other side because the side the U.S. was fighting with had executed his father. Baez saw himself as a Che Guevara-type guerrilla leader. It was like a real-life Apocalypse Now, Heart of Darkness story.
Appreciate that like. Appreciate that like.
Greg Walker's research shows something much darker might have happened. David Baez was captured alive along with 35 other prisoners. The Honduran general gave an execution command, and an unnamed U.S. official agreed to the execution order. Baez was then executed by Honduran soldiers. Evidence for this comes from a declassified CIA internal investigation. Even though it's heavily redacted, it reveals several guerrillas were executed by pistol. Now, the entire mission is controversial even to this day, but I think that it shows at the very least that the U.S. government was far more involved in the fighting in Honduras than they publicly claimed at the time. Most people have no idea that American soldiers were engaged in limited combat in the region throughout the Cold War against other foreign-supported forces. So Greg Walker, a retired Green Beret, revealed how special forces were routinely shot at in El Salvador while on top-secret missions in 1981. President Reagan sent the 7th Group to train El Salvador and help grow El Salvador's security forces from 12,000 to 55,000. Later declassified CIA documents would reveal that these organizations developed into paramilitary groups that were known as the Salvadoran Death Squads. Some sources claim they killed as many as 75,000 people. The mission back then...
Appreciate that sub. Appreciate that sub.
Forces. They were so undercover that in 1986, the U.S. military denied giving them combat infantry badges, which is something that proves that you are in combat. According to SpecialForces78.com, which is run by retired SF guys, the Green Berets who served in El Salvador self-described themselves as the Double Nickel. By 1982, a mission of 55 Special Forces advisors had a budget that was increased to $80 million annually. They were fighting against leftist guerrilla forces who were from the FMLN. They turned out to be better organized and better trained than the U.S. anticipated. They were backed by Cuban, Nicaraguan, North Vietnamese, and even East German advisors from the Soviet Union that were provided to them. Basically, the way it worked was that the Reagan administration avoided anything that would trigger a congressional review of the operations by special forces there. So they were informally promised none of the advisors would be in combat. But they used loopholes to get around this. An additional 75 CIA operators were deployed alongside them. Medical SF soldiers were also not included in the count, and the total number of operatives may have been closer to 300 in El Salvador. According to Greg Walker, himself a veteran of the conflict in El Salvador, he says that there were Purple Hearts issued in El Salvador, but that those killed in action were often misrepresented by the U.S. government. For example, on March 31st, 1987, a guerrilla unit attacked the Salvadoran Brigade headquarters at El Parisio. The relatives of Green Beret Staff Sergeant Gregory A. Faunis was told that he was killed in action while he was asleep in his bunk by a mortar round. In reality, Faunis had left the barracks and helped rally a counterattack. He returned fire and helped secure the command bunker before he was shot multiple times during the battle. These missions in El Salvador.
Damn, that's fucking insane, dude.
Did a deeper dive on it in another video, but these kind of kill teams, kill squads trained by the CIA were accused of mass killings, and so too were the FMLN opposing forces that were backed by the Soviets. Ultimately, 39 Americans were killed during operations supporting El Salvador during the Civil War. Now,
That's insane. 39.
a Delta Force mission to help
39 Americans died in another freaking foreign country,
early 1990s,
which is my parents' country,
leader of the most
to fight a
notorious drug
war.
cartel in Colombia. Operation Search Block aimed to
That makes no sense, man. Imagine their parents hearing that news. Oh yeah, your kid died. So and went over there. What the fuck is my kid doing over there? And why was he over there?
Go back to Colombia. In order to find him, the U.S. Army Intelligence Support Activity used modified civilian planes to
Hey, yo,
support
unsubscribe.
local communications. Meanwhile, Delta Force handpicked and trained a unit called
Who is this Anna chick? Let's see. Channel activity. Joined 4 days ago.
The U.S. government didn't want to appear like
Oh man,
Colombian sovereignty.
you sound like you're a scout or something from like somebody that I know.
Surveillance equipment from the U.S. Army could pinpoint Escobar.
Anyways, that's fucking lame.
But the operation would still need visual confirmation. In December 1993,
Girls don't got anything better to do.
the electronic surveillance kit that a
Fuck outta here.
Pablo's phone at his mother's house. 2 Delta Force snipers set up an observation post in the hills surrounding the area. The search block unit was sent to confirm. They spotted Escobar in the second-story window, and that was all they needed. The Colombian unit stormed the house. They fought their way through Escobar's bodyguards. Pablo fled the gun battle, attempting to escape across the rooftops, but agents caught up and opened fire. Pablo Escobar's reign had come to an end. There have been rumors for years that the final headshot that ended Escobar's life came from one of the Delta Force snipers, but there isn't really any hard evidence that I could find for that. Jerry Boykin, commander of the Delta Force team in Colombia, stated flatly in his memoir published years later, quote, "I can answer that, no." Despite Boykin's denial, legends and rumors persist decades later about exactly how Escobar died and how big of a role Delta Force played in the final raid. However, not all operations have had this level of disclosure, and some are still unconfirmed. In one of the most secretive operations to date, Delta Force was allegedly sent to Mexico in early 2016. I'll tell you right off the bat, this mission is still a rumor. It has not been confirmed yet. It was reported in SOFREP and several other sources. Allegedly, their mission was to assist Mexican authorities in the recapture of the notorious Sinaloa cartel leader Joaquin Guzman, also known as El Chapo. The elusive drug kingpin had been arrested and jailed twice before, but had managed to escape each time. The reason this was possibly a joint operation is because it concerned both countries. Under El Chapo's leadership, the Sinaloa cartel had expanded its criminal network out of Mexico and deep into the United States. Phoenix, Tucson, Atlanta, Chicago have all become major distribution centers for illegal narcotics. The Sinaloa cartel and its ruthless tactics and its black market trade fueled poverty and crime wherever it reached. In 2023, the Chicago Crime Commission named Guzman public enemy number 1, and numerous international manhunts tried to recapture El Chapo, but he slipped through law enforcement's net every time. In early 2016, authorities finally caught a lucky break. The Mexican government launched Operation Black Swan, which was an intensive surveillance and tracking operation that gradually narrowed down Guzman and the cartel's hiding places. So, allegedly, at the invitation of Mexican authorities, the U.S. government supplied Mexico with some of its most closely guarded intelligence and counterterrorism assets, including Delta Force. The American operators helped track down the cartel's leadership to the town of Los Mojis. Now, on January 8th, they pinpointed the location of a prominent sicario, or hitman, in one of the cartel's safe houses. These were professional hitmen who eliminated the cartel's opposition.
Beautiful morning.
Since I was young, I never liked rain. When I hear the sound of the rain now, I feel that I am on
whether they be rival gangs, government officials, or innocent witnesses who've seen too much. Mexican Marines seized the opportunity and stormed the safe house. But as an intense firefight broke out between the Mexican Marines and the cartel hitmen, a familiar figure escaped through the tunnel. A few blocks away,
My bad, yo.
Chapo in a stolen car. But it wasn't a clean getaway this time. Mexican federal police saw the
Had to
car,
put someone
arrested
on
Chapo,
timeout.
hotel, this time throwing him in jail for good. The authorities hadn't even known El Chapo was at the safe house, but they hit the jackpot in this way. Exactly how much of a role Delta Force played to accomplish remains undisclosed, and the Mexican government insists that it was only their forces that prosecuted the arrest, but defense news outlet Safra reports that it's very confident that they have an insider source that Delta Force played a role on the ground all the same. According to U.S. government insiders, Delta Force played a supporting role on this one, training and advising Mexican Marines and intelligence personnel on the best ways to raid the Sicario safe house or how to nab such an elusive target. They provided guidance and intelligence assets. However, Mexican soldiers have reported that the U.S. did send law enforcement personnel to Mexico. The DEA and DOJ regularly get embedded with Mexican Special Forces units where they assist with intelligence while the Mexican troops are the trigger pullers. So it might be that people were confused and it was just a special division from the DEA. Mexican SOF cross-trained with American teams throughout the early 2000s in an attempt to get an edge on the increasingly well-armed cartels. The rapid intelligence processing systems from Delta Force and the CIA are used in the fight against ISIS around the same time, which would be a big help in Operation Black Swan for quickly hunting cartel leadership, if they send so much as a text message, for instance. But the next story does have some more information that has become declassified since then. On December 20th, 1989, 4 MH-6 Little Bird helicopters tore through the darkness over Panama City. Their mission was to rescue U.S. citizen Kurt Hughes from the prison, and the whole U.S. invasion of Panama was set to kick off only an hour later at 1 a.m. If they encountered any delays, the broader invasion could blow the element of surprise, and they'd be flying essentially into a death trap. This is the story of Operation Acid Gambit. At 0:45 a.m., the MH-6 Little Birds carrying the Delta operators.
Hey, appreciate that subscribe.
And they landed the assault team.
I'm gonna play it safe. Once we hit that 1,000, I'm not gonna celebrate it because I'm getting a lot of haters right now. They just unsubscribe.
Former Delta operator Larry Vickers later recalled, "I heard shots the whole time. I could sense bullets flying overhead."
So yeah, we're gonna play it safe a little bit.
End quote. Delta sniper
Probably like once we get like 1,004, 1,007.
The entry team
Oh.
as planned. Another operator was on the side.
Y'all have a blissful morning. Fuck, man. There's a lot of people that are gonna miss out on this right now. People from the chat. People from the chat. Oh, God, man.
They swarmed into the prison. Guards were so turned around and confused that they didn't even realize the fight had moved inside the prison walls. The Delta team safely grabbed Kurt Muse out of his prison cell. But Muse and his team weren't safe yet. As the helicopter carrying Kurt Muse took off, it lost power. The engine had been hit by all the crossfire. One of the Delta passengers took a round to the chest, which knocked him out of the chopper while it was still 20 feet in the air. The bird's
Beautiful
engine gave out,
morning.
and the chopper crashed onto the street. The team regroup formed a perimeter around the crash site, while one
Imagine someone going around.
Colt 1911 pistol to defend himself.
Yo, can you do me a favor and please subscribe to this? And then when I tell you, please unsubscribe.
He was part of the main
Damn, man, that's wild.
head from the
And then,
convoy of American 119 reached the Delta
and then, let's just say like,
West base along the Panama Canal and
let's just say, right, one of those persons that you told to subscribe, you know, kind of DMs, slides in the DMs.
starting in 1960,
That's the wrong thing to do, man. That's all I gotta say.
Division, or SOD it was called at the time. SOD was their ground branch paramilitary force. In 1966, they deployed to stop Che Guevara's revolutionary attempt in Bolivia. The CIA document that was declassified in 1997 and put on their website reveals the CIA perspective on what happened. According to a captured journal by Guevara, his goal was to force U.S. military intervention in Bolivia. and have them fight a protracted ground war insurgency. The CIA deployed Rodriguez and Villalobos as part of their task force in an attempt to avoid getting pulled into a large ground war. Rodriguez provided advanced intelligence to the Bolivian army, who was critical in narrowing down Che Guevara's location. He was embedded on the ground with the battalion of 650 Bolivian Rangers when they caught up to Che on October 8, 1967. Now, they surrounded Guevara and his guerrilla units inside a Euro ravine. The two sides engaged in a fierce firefight, expending hundreds of rounds. Guevara was wounded and captured alive. The next day, orders came from Bolivian high command that were influenced by CIA operatives, allegedly, to execute him. Although Rodriguez insists that the CIA wanted the revolutionary Che Guevara alive, but the Bolivian government gave the orders to shoot him. The Bolivian Rangers wired Rodriguez coded information that said, quote, "Papa tired," which meant that the guerrilla leader had been captured alive. He went to where they were holding him. Now, Rodriguez was interviewed years later, and he said, quote, "I tried to save him, Che, but to no avail." CIA operative Rodriguez claims the U.S. government gave him direct orders to keep Che alive, and that they had, quote, "a helicopter and planes waiting to take him back to Panama to be interrogated," end quote. A Bolivian soldier was allegedly chosen to carry out the execution. Other reports indicate that the U.S. government didn't care if he was captured or killed, and that his death would help stop revolutionary movements across Latin America. Since then, an extensive amount of CIA wires and documents have been declassified by the U.S. government surrounding the mission. However, this next mission is a more recent and still murky as to what exactly took place. So, Operation Golden Pheasant was a mission that I was totally unaware of until I researched this. It was an emergency deployment of U.S. troops to Honduras in 1988 by President Reagan. U.S. forces parachuted in as a response to Nicaraguan attacks on Contra logistics in Honduras. So, let me explain that. The relationship between Honduras and the Sandinistas in Nicaragua during the 1980s was tense to say the least. The Sandinistas was a leftist group that took control of Nicaragua in 1979. They were opposed by the Contras, who were a rebel group that was supported by the United States and based in Honduras. So that's all the background you need to know. These weren't just American special forces here, although it was. It was also 5,000 light infantry, some from the 82nd Airborne, supporting 12,000 Honduras troops against the Nicaraguan Sandinistas. There is a lot of talk recently about how airborne units are obsolete.
Beautiful morning.
Anymore. You don't need paratroopers.